were important in relation to the Become Safe project in Spain. We're very happy to have this opportunity to share with you, to be able to know who's with us today. Just a brief presentation of each one of you to know who you are. And again, if you want to share your camera, that would be nice to see also faces if it's possible. So we can go, and Andrea, if you can introduce yourself.
Yes, hello, I'm Andrea. I work for IOM in Austria, and we don't have a similar project here in Austria, so we're keen on learning and see if there is anything that can be perhaps replicated or recommended in the Austrian context. I'm looking forward to the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. BO, the following, I don't know, BOSMC.
Sorry, you're muted, so I'm asking you to unmute yourself.
Katerina.
Hi, I was silent. Good morning once again. Sorry, I am Bouraoui Aouni. I am the founder and director of Synergy Management Consulting. Oussama Chabouni is with me in this call, and we are working on the evaluation of this big project. Thank you so much for inviting us to this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Hello, Virginia. Hello, colleagues. I'm Caterina from Defense for Children, Italy. I'm very happy to be here today with you. Also, Martina. I'm just finishing my coffee and I will turn on my camera. I promise. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emmanuel.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I have an issue with my camera today, but happy to join. I'm from DCA Belgium and coordinating the Become Safe project. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Martina, I think you're also having the coffee. Susanna.
Yes, good morning. I'm Susanna from Defense for Children International War Service. Sorry, I also cannot turn on my camera today.
Okay, well, thank you. Emoke.
Good morning, hello everyone. My name is Emoke Bányai. I am from Hungary. I used to work as a social worker. Now I teach social workers usually child protection and child safeguarding and similar subjects. And I wanted to join a similar meeting many times, but it was always some problem with the time scheduling. And no, I am very happy that at least at the end of the year, I can join to you.
Happy that you were able to do it. Selalem. Oussama. Okay, I think, well, apart Selalem and Oussama, that I hope they can if you cannot speak, you can put like the one, introduce yourself in the chat. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I cannot open the camera. So I'm Oussama Chabouni. I'm part of the evaluation team for this project, and I'm happy to be with you today. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Selalem. Okay. We're going to use a PowerPoint presentation to facilitate also the understanding, because we're not modern speaking English, so easy to understand. There will be some, we will share also a small video and some materials, but when there is information in Spanish, we will put in the chat the translation in English for you to follow. So we will try to handle with the platform. I hope everything works well. And also, if there's something you don't understand, you want us to repeat or whatever, if you want to comment, let us know. Just let me share it here where I can. Osi, I need to okay, now. Okay. So let us see if you let us know if you see the presentation.
Yes, Virginia, we can see it. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if the presentation is cut, but let's see. Okay, I hope not. Okay, we want to make like a small road on some of the elements of the welcome, the Become Safe project in Spain. We will mention at the beginning some of the main milestones, but we will try to focus on two of them that we think were very important for us and is having a lot of impact. The first ideas is to share that, and I think probably for most of you, the COVID had impacted the intervention of the project in your country. But for us, there were also other elements that affected or dynamized in a different way or impact also the definition of the methodology or the ways we had to intervene. So of course, we start working at the end of the 2020 under a COVID context where dynamics were in a hybrid way, but also there were some restrictions and that we had to respect and to also to promote due to the contagious. So we had to adequate also the relations, the meetings, the coordinations under that dynamic. Despite of that, we had a very good opening, but that slower probably the starting of the project. Then in the middle of the implementation, there has been the approval of an organic law, that is the law 8/2021 in June 4 of 2021. So that is a law that is a very important step that was all the process was about for 10 years. And that is a comprehensive law that protects children and adolescents against all forms of violence. So it's not only a central institutional law based in Madrid, but it's a compulsory law in all the autonomous communities. That has a very important impact and changes in the ways of everybody has to respond. So there is a lot of things going on. So we had to incorporate the law and the elements of the law in the process, in the training process, and all the process we were doing. The other element that affect also not the project, but also the way we had to respond or to incorporate in the analysis of the migration human rights and violence issues is the massive entry of migrants through the Ceuta border that was never saw in the history of Spain, the massive and quantity number of people and young people arriving. So that was also a very important element that we needed to take in consideration. And the other element that was a plus that affect in a way of the follow-up of the process of the youth facilitator was a modification of the migration law that allowed any migrant and over 16 years old to work. So that was something that was very good. It was a fight of the social entities from many years, but that also create other conditions and also limit the time of participation of young migrant people in the project. So for us, this is important for you to know. I'm sorry, I don't see, I hope you sit down. Because we're projecting also in another screen and we see a little bit cut. So there were seven milestones of the project. Of course, there were a lot of actions inside that were developed under the project, but we're not mentioned that. We're trying to see like the main impact. So one was that which is very important from this European project that start from a study and from a mapping, no? Trying to know and to identify what's going on and who is working on that. So we did a mapping of stakeholders and we tried to analyze how is the institutional violence behavior. This is a very delicate issue because, of course, the stakeholders are public professionals, but also are social entities that are dependent from the public funds. So was very, at the beginning, they were concerned about saying, speaking about institutional violence in relation to migration. But then little by little, there was an anonymous questionnaire, and there was very interesting information that we have presented on this Thursday to the authorities. The second milestone was the adaptation and translation of the manuals that has been built as in a European level and coordinated by, of course, DCI Belgium. But of course, it was needed to adapt them to the context and taking in consideration the elements we mentioned at the beginning. And also the one related to the youth facilitator. And so there was a big effort. And the lesson learned probably is this: even if we adapted at the beginning of the project, it was an ongoing adaptation because of the changes we mentioned, but because the time people were devoting or because it's specific situation, we need to adapt to the groups, to the context, and to the specific objective or demands we were requesting. Then the third milestone was the development of the training of professionals. That also we had different challenges because of the time that they were requesting us to develop. Sometimes were shorter, sometimes longer, but most of the time they were shorter. So we have to adapt also the curricula of the professional training, but we had very good impact. And also in some of the training of professionals, the youth facilitator were involved, so that also dynamized and made a different discussion also with the migrants participating in the professionals training. The fourth milestone was the training of young facilitators that we will try today to share, because we think this was a very, very important process for us, and gave us a lot of opportunities, and now is becoming a very interest project for others that after the presentation we did this weekend on Thursday to the authorities and to social entities, many people are willing to know more about that, and they're wanted to be developed also in some organizations. The fifth was the awareness raising campaign that is a result of the process with the young facilitators that you will see. We'll try to share some of the elements and the message that has been built by the young facilitators. The sixth one was probably a complementary process that we had to do the protocols, but the protocols linked to the obligations stated in the new law to end and to prevent all forms of violence, that we had to include that, and that was very good, and is going to be impact several protection centers, and also the social service director is requesting us like a draft of the protocols for them to see if they can use the draft for other centers. And the last one is a process that is still going on, that is the building of a common agenda and on advocacy. I don't know. There's some, okay. Sorry, that is a chat here. Okay. Okay, I see you cannot see the down. Okay, just for your information, very quickly, in terms of scope and impact. No, so we were able to train 160 professionals in Zaragoza protection system and the civil society organizations. For consultation of between peers were made. The biggest one was with 24 young people coming from different nationality, as you can see: Morocco, Algeria, Ghana, Gambia, Romania, Syria, China, Ecuador, and even in one of the consultations there were people from Spain. We had a limited number of young facilitators to start on. So we had 6, was Colombia, Algeria, Morocco, Guinea-Bissau, and Nicaragua. And the final, probably the ones who are really developing the main activities of the youth facilitators were 3 because of different reasons, because of timing, because of other activities, and also one of them was engaging in a new job thanks to this modification of the law. Then we were able to reach 195 children, adolescents, and youth through this awareness raising campaign in different centers, schools, education centers. And then we were able, in the last one that I don't know if you can see, is we were able to do some posters on prevention violence and 2 videos that we will share to you. Okay. Can you see the screen properly? Because we're projecting and we see that it's cut.
It's a little bit cut, but we can see most of it.
Okay, I'm just going. Let me see if you can see it now better. Can you see it now better?
Yes.
I think put it where it was, because what is important is the slide and not the next slide. So
But I don't know how I can do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. I think now the focus of the main slide is there.
Okay, I don't know how to put just one. Okay, so this is so we want to share with you the training young facilitators. This is some photographs of the process. The process was a longer process that we expected because, as you saw, there were different cultures, different nationality, and also a different, they had, as they're part of different modalities, centers, their agenda was also complicated to manage. So we had to arrange meetings in the weekends, meetings in the evening, meetings, and also the issue of the Spanish, because we had some Arab speaking, Spanish speaking, English speaking, and so we had to handle. But some elements that I think that facilitate also the integration was there were women and men. That helps a lot because the women help also to integrate the young men in the process. But because of the Spanish understanding, we had to do more activities with them, which was great, but took longer than we expected. So El equipazo, this is a Spanish expression about the great team. So the main ones were Yunus, Youssef, and Kelly, one from Morocco, Algeria, and Colombia. And Maria was from Nicaragua, and Mamadou from Guinea-Bissau. Some of the elements that we integrate in terms of approach and methodologies, and the elements that were mainstreaming all the process, also incorporating the elements of the new law that is based on the General Comment and the Convention on the Rights of the Child related to violence against children. So, of course, the main elements that we work, all the actions taken, children and adolescents and youth at the center of our actions. We were including elements related to prevention, to holistic protection, promoting safe spaces, and the right to good treatment. We don't know if this is the correct translation, because in Spanish it has a specific meaning, the promotion of the buen trato, no? But it's something that more than only a good treatment, is a behavior, is as a way of relation, a way of respecting the other, a way of treating the other, no? The other elements also that we use, and that was very helpful also for professionals, for young people, and for social institutions, that was to try to identify elements of prevention, but using these three, the green one is like understanding what universal prevention is when it has not yet occurred, the violence. The selective prevention is when there is a person is at risk, and indicated prevention when it has already occurred. And when you work in policies, for social policies, you use, for example, primary prevention as universal prevention, or secondary prevention as selective prevention. You use third prevention and as indicated prevention. But this was very important because allows also people to see more clear, for example, when we came to specific situation of violence. So to identify the elements that cause the violence or that can be prevented, or elements that that needed to have a response. So that was something that is used, and I think people have mentioned that was very positive. So we, after the mapping and after the process of working with the young facilitators, it has been identified by them that there were 3 realities that they would like to prioritize, and they were elements of violence, common elements of violence related for the non-accompanying children, for gender violence, and for diversity. So we tried to made like a deeper analysis of violence related to these 3 aspects or situations, and we also and all the consultation also was related, and the analysis was related to these 3 priorities. And we also tried to help them to understand and to analyze more, and for them to see reflected or not. So we try to share some videos, and you see here also the translation in Arab, because as some of the children, the young facilitators were Arab speaking, and most of the migrants arriving in Spain are from Arab speaking country. So the young facilitators translate the messages in Arab for others to understand. So so all the materials, most of the materials, we have it in Spanish and Arab because of the reality of the population that is coming. The other aspect that we work, which was also very important, that also affect probably, or not affect, but had an impact in the messages that has been developed by the young facilitators, is that we work under, I'm sorry, this is in Spanish, but we work under the migration cycle, because most of the young facilitators arriving has a lot of have their sequelas, have their in their narrative of lives, their stories have an impact in their arrival, and has an impact in their behaviors, and if they don't deal with that, they cannot continue, no? So and that was very important also when we discussed this with the professionals, because they mentioned that when they are working with the young facilitators in the centers, they forgot where they're coming from. They just have to respond to the actual needs, but they visualize the importance of knowing that who they are, where they come, why they decided to leave, what they face in the process, in the transit, in the process of what were the risk and the protective factors in all the cycle of migration. So this was very interesting, and also there is some exercise that has been made in terms of trying them, also the professionals, for example, to put imagine them as someone in that situation. So so we did also the role play activities and others around the cycle of migration. Of course, when we work this cycle of migration with young people, we had also to deal with some testimonies that were very difficult for them also to say, but also to share, but also they felt in a confidence a scenario with us, and in a protective and safe space that they felt happy to share, because there's something that they're having in their mind, in their soul, and they wanted to share with us and also with the other young facilitators. And the other element discussing about what happened in all the process of the cycle of migration in their narrative story is that they realized that they were not alone, that they were with other people, that young people that also were facing the same things. So that had a very good also impact in all the process from professionals, from young facilitators. So the process of young facilitators, we defined it like we did it like in 7 phases. The first phase was the identification, the information to the authorities, to the centers, trying to identify who the criteria of who can join and do the process of involvement, the coordinations and all that. Then the second, so we were able to invite a part of the social services. We invited 4 centers. One was the OSANAM, who has different centers of with migrant people, in particular in the phase of emancipation. There was other center, one federations of center, which is FEPAS, that also they have protection centers with migrant young people. The other one was a community center called the Casa Juventud Las Fuentes, where they work in a community which is with a high percentage of migrants, and where also are Spanish and Roman people. And the other one was La Casa Saim, which is the entrance center, is the main point where all the migrants arriving in Zaragoza are in there. So that was the where we had that bigger number of young migrant people. So there were several conditions and criteria to define to be part of a young facilitator process, and one of them was also the timing of the dedication. They can't be in a continuous process. No, they have to commit themselves to a process. The other was the process of training that, as I said, I don't know at the end how many, cuántas sesiones hicimos. We did about 12 sessions with them because also of the as I mentioned, of the Spanish understanding, the difficulties of Spanish understanding. So we had to go slowly. And the training process and in an like in a accreditation, like in a graduation, no? So we did a certificate, we did a kind of a ceremony, and that was very important for them because there was not only a training, but also something that they felt supported, but also they felt they were taking a role, and the role was the next steps, them to do it by themselves, no, was the consultation and then the campaign. So that moment of closing the training with the ceremony and with the accreditation was very important for the group. And then we start, the third phase was starting the coordination of different spaces between peers with the organization centers involved, and preparation of the consultation. And here we'll see in a moment, because that was also another process with the facilitator, because if they will be, even if we work how to do a consultation, we had to develop a methodology for the consultation. And and in particular, that was very important because the consultation had to be developed by them, not by us. And so we needed to guarantee in a way that they felt able and they had the capacities and the conditions to develop that and the assurance to develop that. So we'll show at the end what we developed, and there was great development by them. Then the first phase was the development of the consultation and building the messages of the campaign, understanding also that, again, we work on the cycle because that was very important, but also messages were in the different steps of the cycle, and of course, for the people who are now in Spain. Then we did the systematization of the process. That was also another learning process with the young facilitators, because they don't know, they're not how to, there were information of the consultation, so how we systematize, how we do analyze with them, how we with that prepare the awareness campaign. And then we did the campaign with them. We used Canva, we built the messages, we tried to organize them, and they were the ones who also built the layout of the Canva campaign. And then we did, with those materials, we also hire a professional, designer professional, to develop other materials like a video and like some posters. And then we validate with them, we did like accountability with the ones who participate with the institution. We validate the messages and also with the young facilitator. And we started the sensitization campaign in schools and in some communities and some centers, and then we started dissemination. And now we have been in a process of discussing, and also with the authorities and with the institutions, that how to continue, how the young facilitators, the ones who has been accredited, can continue as multiplicator, because they wanted to do it and they want to continue sharing message to other peers. And also we how we do now respond to the other requests that other entities would like us to train other young facilitators. What we mentioned in the Thursday presentation is that one of the starting point of the training youth facilitator, which is for here was clear, was to train them to do consultation in a campaign and dissemination messages to prevent violence and to support others to prevent violence, is that we can train other facilitators, but the purpose of their role is very important. What they're going to do with that. So we're in that. So we are in this phase 7 because we think youth facilitator training has a lot of potential, not only as building a consultation or a campaign, but for other purposes. Now, this is again with the English with the Arab translation. This is the methodology used in the consultation. In particular, this was for the bigger group. The 24 in the Casa Zaim group, was most of them were Arab speaking, and there was a group of the sub-Saharan countries and area, and that was in English speaking. And that was separate. I did the English, and the young people did the Arab and Spanish speaking. So we built an empathy map because messages had to be clear, easy to understand. So they did a presentation about about the objective, why they were doing that, who they are as a young facilitator. They did that introduction and then a presentation to everybody. And then the first question was to work, and so they would separate in working in groups. And then one young facilitator per group was in charge to facilitate the discussion. And there was amazing the response of the participants and also of the facilitators. They did everything. And even in the group, I had to do it because of the English speaking. Also, they were very open and frank and very, and they appreciated the way and the treatment, also the respectful manner of everybody handled the session. So the first say was, could you tell us what was your motivation for coming to Spain, what you would like to do? The second feeling was, what were your feelings, emotion you had during your trip, departure, transit, and arrival? And here was open, but also was, there were few ones that didn't want to talk about it because they felt that it was still very painful for them to talk about that. So we respect that. To think, what information would you like to have during your trip, departure, trip, arrival, where and by whom, how do you feel now? And the last one was to do, let's make proposals to help others, children, adolescents, and young people on the move. And here was also a lot of proposals from them. Then those proposals came to a campaign, came to be the messages of a possible campaign. So the messages we divided into in different items. Now one was prevention, was the other one protection, or the one information. Maybe sometimes in prevention and information it can be the same, but we separated. Another one's about human rights, another one's about complaints, and the other one was about where to go. That one was probably for us the most difficult because we faced some difficulties in reaching the information, and we will let you know why. So these messages are in Spanish, but I tried to translate. So, and as I said, that was built by them through Canva. So in prevention, also they were thinking about that you always have to be careful and to be smart in situations that can be strange and that can put you at risk. The road of your trip is not as an easy way. You can suffer different forms of violence. Even you can go to prison. Was several of them mentioned that one of the main messages that also developed this is because they said, if I had the information beforehand, will never make that trip. Others, in particular the sub-Saharan, they had they face a lot of racism in some countries, and some of them also were when they crossed border, they were put in prison for several months. So the messages here are in relation to take care of yourself in all the moments, pay attention of what people are saying to you, the promises they propose you. You will find good people, and you also find people that can take advantage of yourself. And And here in relation to protection was if you have suffered a situation of violence, you're not alone. There are entities that can help you, and you can also denounce violation. Do not allow any kind of violence. Violence is prohibited and penalized in many countries, and there are laws that can protect you. In relation to information, don't think everything that people are saying. You have to inform yourself well before your trip. There are social networks they don't not always give you real information. Think of what information it's circulating in the social media. Take care of yourself. Many people can offer you things. But you can also fall into trafficking. Forms of violence exist. Inform yourself, prepare yourself, and do not expose yourself. Human rights, you have rights to, I'm sorry? You have rights to speak, to be listened, to participate in decisions of your life. You have a right to have documentation and to be protected. And in Spain, you have the children's rights are all parts of the world, and state has to guarantee and protect. If you not speak the language, you have the right to a translator. If you migrate, you have the right to a lawyer to be to represent you. You need to know that if you don't have documentation, you have rights, and so many entities can help you and can provide you support and protection. And this was related to complaint, and there is a message of Mamadou that he was one of the facilitators, and he was not in Zaragoza, he is in Barcelona, and he speaks about what happened to him and the importance of being informed, and also he sent a message about denounce, don't stay quiet, denounce if there is a violence or something has happened to you. And here we have done this one as posters, but we didn't include it here because it was easier for you to see it. But this is information. So we had faced a lot of problems because in Spain, or I don't know if your countries, you cannot put information of reference if you don't have their approval to put it. So Giovanna had a lot of challenges requesting the information. This is for the police because it was a long way, and some entities didn't want them to be put, and some others, they approve it, but it was a long process. And we find out that there were not many places for children to go. So we identified, of course, the GRUME, which is the police specialized in children and adolescents. There's the National Social Services, the Gender Violence for Children, the ANAR Foundation, which is a telephone online, open for children. So they open here, they open the ANAR Foundation like an indicator. I don't know if you can say that, but for migrant children to call, and then we had several meetings with them, and they agreed us to include them. There's a hotline, so here there's a hotline also for gender violence. There's women victims for gender violence. There's the Women's House, and there's also another WhatsApp number for children, and there's also, of course, DCI number for them too. And that was also this information we are disseminating in schools, and teachers are very welcome that we are putting also as posters in schools for any violence that is happening, so they have the information because they didn't have it. So there's still other places where they can request assistance. This is a video. Just let me put you the translation in the chat for you to let me see if I can copy here. Okay. Wait. No. So I have in here just a second. Move, sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put you, sorry, that is slow. Oh, sorry. Here. Okay, because the video is in Spanish. So just let me see if you get it. Okay. Do you get it? No? No. Ozzy? How do I put the text?
Do you want to put the text in the chat?
Yes.
Please open the chat box and put it there.
That's what I'm doing, but I cannot.
If you go down at the bottom where the audio is and where the video, then there is a chat box. Just click on it and then you will have the chat open in a small box.
Okay, yeah, here, for example,
Yeah.
but I cannot, can I put the document?
A document, a video.
Yeah, no, can I put because I tried to copy, but it doesn't work.
I would say you copy paste the text rather than attach a document.
I can attach the document for you to have it, but pegar. Okay, it doesn't allow me.
Yeah, I would say it's better to just copy paste the text.
Okay, that's what I'm doing, but it doesn't allow me. Okay, just okay. I can read it. I can read it later for you to understand, but I'm going to not to delay more. So here is the video. I hope you can hear well, and then I translate if it's.
Tenemos derechos a recibir atención, buenos tratos y a sentirnos seguros. Tenemos derecho a estar en entornos seguros cuando seamos víctimas de violencias. Tienen derecho a que sean protegidos y disponer de todos los apoyos siempre con un trato justo e igualitario. Ante situaciones de abuso, maltrato o acoso, no tener miedo. Existe una red segura que pueden protegerles y cuentan con el apoyo de la familia, los amigos, educadores y policía. Tenemos que informarnos. Existen apoyos y recursos donde pueden informarnos. Si eres una persona menor de edad, puedes acudir al servicio de atención a la infancia y también a otras entidades.
Okay, you saw that the information is also in Arab. So this is an advice of Mohammed and Mayra, who were the two protagonists, young protagonists, providing the message to improve protection of children and young adults and migrants who are victims of suffering or risk of violence. Is the title. We have the right to receive care, protection, good treatment, and feel safe. We have the right to be in safe environments when we are victims of violence. We have the right to be protected always with fair and equal treatment, situation of abuse and mistreatment, not to be afraid. There is safe networks that can protect them, protect us. With the support of family, friends, educator, and police, we have to inform ourselves. There is a secure support network where we can inform ourselves. If you are children, adolescents, and young, you can go to Child Protection Service and also to other social entities, care and protection services for children and adolescents under 18 years old, a number, and there's all the other telephones. So this is the message of the video. And here is the two posters that has been produced also under this campaign, is that if someone happened to you, or if you know that someone is in need, it's important to denounce and to help, to look for help. Our proposal is to improve the protection of children, adolescents, and young people who are victims and at risk. If you need help, please contact us. So this is also has been disseminated to social entities and to the social services that are disseminating and putting also the information in different places. So this is the other messages, is Mamadou, who wanted to, in here, because he caught it, he get nervous, and so he decided to restart. So the first part is presenting himself, and the second part is related to giving positive message. So also in Spanish, and then I'll translate it.
Hola, buenas. Me llamo Mamadou Conté, soy de Guinea-Bissau. Quiero contaros un poco sobre mi trayectoria de llegar a España y daros algunos consejos a los menores que llegan en situaciones de migración. Porque no siempre, las cosas no siempre salen como nos lo cuentan. Eso es la realidad. Y el viaje sí es difícil, es peligroso, es complicado, y yo creo que lo más importante es que nos informemos antes de venir, y cuando lleguemos también tenemos que intentar informarnos mejor en el país que vivimos y cómo está la cosa, y pedimos consejos a las personas indicadas o adecuadas para poder ayudarnos en nuestra situación. Yo personalmente mi viaje ha sido muy difícil porque cuando llegué aquí no conocía a nadie y no tenía familia, y pasé situaciones, dormido en la calle, he pasado cosas malas que ya sabéis. Pues por eso estoy compartiendo este vídeo con vosotros, para que no os pase igual como lo que me pasó a mí. Y
So this first sentence said, hello, my name is Mamadou Conté. I am from Guinea-Bissau, and I would like to tell you a little bit about my journey to Spain and give you some advice to young people arriving in situation of migration, because things do not always turn on the way they tell us. There is the reality And I think the most important thing is that we inform ourselves before we come and when we arrive and try to find out more about the country where we live and how things are and ask for advice for the right people to help us in our situation. Personally, my journey has been very difficult because when I arrived here, I didn't know anyone. I had no family. I have been in bad situation. I have slept in the street. I have been through bad things that you already know. That's why I am sharing this video with you, so that what happened to me cannot happen to us. About all, I want to know what we all have the right, and this is the second part, I'm sorry.
Y sobre todo, quiero que sepáis que tenemos derecho a un abogado, tenemos derecho a un traductor si no entendemos bien el idioma, y tenemos derecho a opinar, tenemos derecho a participar. Y sobre todo, tenemos derecho a la documentación también. Y lo más importante es que si ves que estás en una situación que no esté bien, sientes que es una situación de violencia, tienes que denunciar.
Above all, I want to let you know that we all have the right to a lawyer. We have the right to a translator. If we don't understand the language, we have the right to express our opinion. And above all, we have the right to have documentation. And the most important thing is that if you don't feel that you are in good situation, you feel that is the situation of you are in a situation of violence, you have to denounce it.
Y sobre todo, quiero que sepáis que tenemos... Hola.
Okay, now this is the last part of our presentation. Giovanna, I'll give the floor to Giovanna. She will speak in Spanish, so we'll try to translate. And Giovanna is the coordinator of the Become Safe project in Spain. She will, she will explain a little bit about how the process of building a common agenda and social mobilization, an agenda of advocacy, and the questionnaire that has been put in place and the national Aragonese strategy that is going on and how we are complementing through the Become Safe project. ¿Quieres explicar las preguntas?
Sí, no, sobre todo lo que quería era un poco el antecedente de cómo hemos iniciado nuestra estrategia conjunta del 2023, que trata sobre personas menores de edad en condición de migración, derechos humanos y violencia. Entonces,
so she would like to explain how we have developed the building strategy, taking in consideration the three elements: violence, migration, and human rights.
Sí. Decidimos hacer el documento en línea ante la imposibilidad de la disposición de tiempo que teníamos para poder coincidir con todos los actores sociales, tanto la administración pública, el sistema de protección de la infancia y la adolescencia, los coordinadores de los centros de protección y los profesionales de las diferentes organizaciones no gubernamentales y la universidad, que de alguna manera estaban implicados con los procesos de migración, violencia y trabajo con personas menores de edad.
So there is an online questionnaire that has put that is still there for the different stakeholders involved, and this has been put in place because of the difficulties of the agendas of the different stakeholders, public and social entities and others, and to facilitate the communication and in particular also the systematization of the elements. And also this has been put in place because as there is already an Aragonese strategy on migration that is building, but is not yet implemented.
estamos pasando por una etapa en la que se nos está redistribuyendo en las comunidades autónomas a todas las personas menores de edad en situación de migración que se encuentran tutelados y es por eso que la distribución de estos menores dificulta de que todos los profesionales podamos coincidir en el mismo escenario.
Por un momento, chicos.
Sí, porque están ya restringiéndose tanto de Ceuta como de Canarias.
So, because of the increase of migration through Ceuta and Canarias, there is a new distribution. It's a horrible word that I don't know how to, to use another one, of young people to the different autonomous communities. So in this moment, everybody is receiving the young people. So this is why they don't have the time to sit down. And that's why, again, through the project, it has been decided that the online questionnaire is the better way of having information from all stakeholders.
Vale, se elaboró el documento en línea y mandamos un email a todos los profesionales que están implicados dentro del sistema de protección. Y luego hicimos una llamada telefónica para poder recordarles lo de las contestación de las preguntas. Entonces, nuestra estrategia, nuestro trabajo fue basado en una estrategia general que se estaba desarrollando ya en el 2021. Tanto la administración como todos los actores sociales han desarrollado una estrategia denominada situación de los niños, niñas y adolescentes que migran solos. Ellos han establecido unos documentos que están versados en 5 líneas de actuación. Estas son las preguntas, ¿no? Porque,
las líneas.
Sí, las líneas yo creo que no es esa presentación ya. Las líneas de actuación son, el primero, pues el tema de la acogida cuando llega por primera vez un menor en situación de migración. La segunda es el de mayoría de edad y el proceso de emancipación. La tercera es cuando se hablan los accesos a los derechos. Cuarto, el tema de la participación. Y quinto, el tema de protección de la infancia y la adolescencia.
Okay, Giovanna is she explained the process of the putting in place the questionnaire, calling each one of the stakeholders invited to respond, and the different communications she had with them. And then she's explaining now how the questionnaire has been built, taking in consideration this Aragonese strategy that is called Aragonese strategy about the situation of children and adolescents that are non-accompanying, non-accompanying children. But this word has also changed in Spain. Spain used to call the menas, but this is not anymore used. So, and in Aragon also they are now calling migrant children traveling alone. So the Aragonese strategy has 5 chapters. One is related to the welcoming and to so the first entrance, the first response. And the second one is related to the age of majority and emancipation. The third, because most of the migrants that arrive, at least in Aragon, are around 16 years old, up to 17, some of them are older. Then about the right to access to different services, public services. The fourth is related to participation. And the fifth is related to improve protection systems.
Vale, en base a esta estrategia general se elaboraron 5 preguntas. es lo que están dispuestas a hacer.
So, taking in consideration this strategy and the 5 chapters of key chapters that it mentioned in the strategy. So it has been the questionnaire developed these 5 questions. One is what aspects should be reinforced in short, medium, and long term. The second was in relation to discrimination, xenophobia, and hate speech. Could you suggest any action that could be developed among different actors, including children, adolescents, and young migrants? That's the other one is what conditions and capacities should be created in children, adolescents, and young migrants, and in the Aragonese society to promote real participation. And the last one is there any additional issue that you consider important to work in a joint work strategy?
No sé si está en la segunda. Bueno, de todas estas preguntas que se hizo, os comentaré solo algunas de las respuestas que hicimos del documento en línea que se han ido presentando a todos los profesionales. La primera es, como respuesta nos decían de que era muy importante tener una creación de red de jóvenes inmigrantes para poder cubrir todos los aspectos que necesitarían trabajar para poder luego integrarse dentro de la sociedad, pero que estos servicios deberían ser tanto públicos como privados para así no tener que ir llamando a las puertas.
So the first one is the creation of a network. Well, we have the resources for young migrants, both public services and private entities, to be able to cover all aspects without having to go knocking doors.
La segunda pregunta es en relación a la discriminación, xenofobia y manifestaciones de odio, las acciones que se deberían realizar para que puedan participar de manera los diferentes actores, incluyendo a las personas menores de edad y jóvenes migrantes. Entonces, nos decían de que era muy importante visibilizar itinerarios de éxito para los jóvenes para combatir ese estigma negativo de que se suele decir siempre de que se encuentran pues vinculados a infancias rotas, a conductas de calle. Considera muy importante reforzar el aspecto positivo, ¿no? Que sean jóvenes con referencias positivas.
No, eso no perdí. So the second question is to make visible journeys and itineraries of success of young people to combat the negative stigma about them that links them with broken childhoods and street behaviors as positive reference.
Vale, respecto a la pregunta 3, ¿qué condiciones y capacidades se deberían crear para las personas menores de edad y jóvenes para poder promover una participación real? Nos decían de que era muy importante superar la barrera idiomática porque sin el conocimiento del idioma era muy complicado poder integrarse a la sociedad española, no se podía informar, no se podía tener el acceso a sus derechos.
They said the response received so far, they said that it was very important to overcome the language barrier as one of the main obstacles they encounter in order to participate and truly integrated into society and to know and claim their rights on an equal footing.
La cuarta pregunta que se trata sobre violencia que afecta a las personas menores de edad, sobre todo considerándose vulnerables, pero sobre todo para aquellos personas menores de edad entre sus pares, se está produciendo mucho el tema de la violencia digital. Entonces, la pregunta es, ¿qué acciones se deberían sugerir para que este colectivo pueda mejorar esta situación?
So the one related to violence that affects all, in particular to the most vulnerable because of their condition, but also among their peers. It's been mentioned that the digital violence should be attacked or resolved and to be explained also to them how to handle, how to prevent it. So report on system resources of guidance and accompaniment, implementation of actions of this type that will prevent this field of digital violence.
Bien, y la última pregunta, si existía algún tema adicional que era importante trabajar para poder conseguir esa estrategia en conjunto para el 2023, y es, bueno, la mayoría de las consultas nos salía el tema de que hay que trabajar mucho el tema de la salud mental.
And an additional point that has been raised is the need of strengthening the response to mental health care and the possibility of having meetings between the administration and social entities to address the strategies jointly and networking.
Pues esas son las
última cuestión.
Sí puedo hablar de esto también. Tenemos, bueno, respecto a ello, estamos pendientes ya de recibir más documentos en línea y yo creo que ya a finales de semana lo terminaremos. Solamente quería hacer una puntuación de que tenemos en el mes de agosto de este año ha salido una modificación de la ley de extranjería donde hay posibilidad de que los personas mayores de 16 años puedan tener el permiso de trabajo y residencia o el permiso que les habilite a trabajar. Esto ha sido una mejora para el sistema de protección porque era uno de los obstáculos para poder, para que el joven emancipado pueda salir y conseguir una situación de autonomía. El permiso de trabajo por un lado, les ayuda a que puedan independizarse y continuar con una vida ciudadana como el resto de los demás ciudadanos dentro de la sociedad. Entonces ha sido una gran mejora para los jóvenes que se encuentran en situación dentro del sistema de protección.
Okay, she is mentioning also the importance also in this joint strategy, a common agenda is the modification of the law of migration in last August, about what has been said at the beginning of the presentation about the possibility of young migrant people, upper 16 years old, that they are allowed to request a work permit and a residence. This has been a lot of improvement for the protection system because that was one of the main challenges they had about the follow-up after they get the majority of age when they reach the 18 years old, and they had to get out of the protection measures without any possibility of integration. But there are some also challenges in here. Los retos de esto, de la integración que tienen ahorita, en contexto de COVID, falta de trabajo y eso.
Sí, actualmente pues con la situación del COVID ha sido una situación en la que los jóvenes les ha costado mucho poder salir a los centros de formación para poder formarse. También el hecho de que estos jóvenes puedan tener un permiso de trabajo y residencia les sirve mucho para que ellos también puedan integrarse. Dentro de nuestro proyecto, estos jóvenes que han empezado, estos facilitadores juveniles que han empezado a trabajar, ha sido una ayuda para ellos, pero para nosotros ha imposibilitado mucho de que puedan seguir compartiendo algunos procesos dentro del sistema y no hemos podido continuar trabajando con ellos, sino de manera puntual.
Okay, she's mentioning some challenges that despite of this very good notice of the reform of the law, the possibility of the young people to have the work permit and residence, is that the actual context of in Spain of the labor situation, that many of them that have been in this protection system for many years, they've been trained and formed in a lot of issues, and they're not able to find a job that easily. Some of them have been success, but not all of them. And this is one of the challenges now, that the door is open, but there's not all the in situ conditions. And also she's mentioned that in relation to the young facilitators that participate in the program, this element of accessing to the job in this with this new law, which is very good, also has limited the possibility of participating in the youth facilitation process, but so we had to adapt to the new agenda. They have of possibilities to getting involved in the process. No sé si quieres decir algo más.
Nada más.
Agradecer.
Bueno, gracias por todos, por habernos tenido en cuenta para poder participar en este webinar. Espero que hayan podido entender las realidades de España con estas experiencias que hemos hecho dentro de Become Safe, y gracias.
Giovanna wants to again to thank you for your participation. She said that she hopes that you were able to understand what has been presented and what has been done here in Spain, one part of a piece of what has been done. And we are open now for if you have some questions or clarifications. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Virginia and Giovanna. This was really, really nice and informative. Yeah, if you have any question, or you can write it in the chat if you want, we can read it. I know that time has run, so would ask you if you would like to have some couple of more minutes and ask your questions if you have.
I hope with the English and with the presentation has been clear. I don't know if you want to, do you have any questions or doubts, or you want us to explain a little bit more something? We were happy also to share to you the presentation, but also the materials that has been produced and the information that also that came out from the consultations, and also the material that has been produced, of course, by the young people. Okay, we think everything is clear. Okay, so thank you so much. Was there any reaction from Human Rights Association? Any other child rights association for the law and immigration not? The work of the adaptation of the immigration. Que si hay alguna reacción de la Asociación de Derechos Humanos o otra organización de derechos de los niños cuando la ley de migración permite a los chicos trabajar a los 16 años, la influencia y la adaptación de la ley de migración en los jóvenes facilitadores.
A ver, realmente la ley de inmigración, bueno, la ley de las normas nacionales de España permiten a todo joven a partir de los 16 años empezar a trabajar, pero que era una limitación con los extranjeros a través de la ley de extranjería. Sin embargo, con esta nueva modificación sí que se ha admitido el trabajo para estos jóvenes porque había una situación de desprotección, porque tanto a los nacionales trabajaban que los jóvenes extranjeros
De discriminación.
discriminación, perdón. Para el colectivo de migrantes ha sido muy importante porque teníamos un problema con estos jóvenes porque ellos en el momento de hacer prácticas mientras no tenían el permiso para trabajar, no podían hacer prácticas. Por lo tanto, perdían esa oportunidad de tener un permiso de trabajo. En cuanto a las prácticas, en cuanto a poder empezar esa vida laboral al inicio de su carrera, tampoco lo podían hacer. Sin embargo, ahora con esto de la ley, sí que se puede hacer.
Pero
Es
ha
algo
habido alguna
positivo.
reacción o
No, una reacción favorable.
okay. There has been positive reactions from human rights and child rights organizations, and also human rights and child rights organizations were the ones who propose or advocates to the change of the law. And it was a discriminatory process in Spain because the labor law, the work law, allowed the Spanish people to work after 16 years old. But there were no possibility for migrant young people to work in Spain after in any time, no? So so this has been applied and it is seen as a positive asset, and it's seen as an asset and as a positive improvement in relation to avoid discrimination and to improve integration of young people in the social dynamic and labor dynamic, also more integrated. So the challenges is more related to, and also because I think all the countries are facing the same problems because the social protection services or responses for children and adolescents are until -18. But after that, and there's a lot of protection, and after that they're unprotected. Because the system was that. So this allowed an extension under the protection system for them to continue under the protection modalities, but also it allowed them to have a registration and to have a work permit. Yeah. The challenges today, but it's not only for them, is the social economical context, that there are less work possibilities because they are probably better prepared than many others because they have received many trainings. So they are professionals in many things. But the problem is there are less work possibilities. This is this is a contextual situation. No, it's not a result of the law, is not a result of the protection system, is the problem of a contextual situation. But in general terms, we will be happy if you want to have the law, the modification of the law. We will be happy to share with you the new law that includes the modification. You can put your email, we can send it to you.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Caterina has the word.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, Giovanna. My question was connected with this because in Italy, migrants are also allowed, and in Portugal, migrants are also allowed after 19 years old. But sometimes there is the problem of obligatory schooling, so obligatory training or some type of schooling that they have to do here. And sometimes these two things overlap in each other because many times, and I understand your presentation because it's very important for them to work. So being able to work since 16 years as the nationals is very important, but sometimes this shocks with the necessity of having a training or obligatory schooling. So I would like to ask if in Spain you also encounter these kind of problems as we do, because many times young people don't understand, and we also do not know how to make them understand. You want to work, but you have to go to school, and they say, but I don't want to go to school, I want to work because I want to be independent. So these two things are very hard for us, and I would like to know if you encounter the same problems and have solutions or ideas. Thank you.
Uno de los problemas que ellos tienen en Italia es con esta apertura de que los chicos puedan trabajar, que ya pueden hacerlo, es que una de las condiciones es que tienen que estar estudiando, que tienen que continuar los estudios. Ella quiere saber, y no entienden por qué esa imposición. Ella quiere saber cómo es en España, si eso es un requisito, o si tienen que estar vinculados al sistema.
No, sí. A ver, a ver cómo lo explico. El permiso para trabajar es un documento que te sirve para que puedas ingresar al mundo laboral. Pero el permiso que le habilita a trabajar, que es otro documento donde le permite al joven tanto trabajar como estudiar. Si está dentro del mismo sistema de protección, lo que tiene que hacer este joven es trabajar, pero si su coordinador decide que no quiera trabajar, porque todavía tiene ese proceso de educación, pues a lo mejor tiene el permiso que le habilita a trabajar, pero seguir estudiando. El problema viene en la renovación de ese permiso, porque un permiso se renueva cada 2 años. Cuando salen del sistema de protección, estos jóvenes que tienen ese permiso que les habilita a trabajar tienen que demostrar económicamente de que son solventes para poder renovar. Ese es el problema que nos vamos a encontrar de aquí a 2 años, ¿no? Porque no vamos a tener ese aval de menores de que este chico está estudiando, de que tiene buenos objetivos, porque necesitan medios económicos para subsistir.
Pero digamos, ahora se está habilitando más que todo a los que están en el sistema, pero a uno que está fuera del sistema puede solicitarlo siempre y cuando demuestre que tiene
medios económicos.
Okay, there's 2 things. One is the work permit, that it's a permit that allows you to integrate, to get into the job world, no? To the labor market. But this law, it's an I don't know, say it's the habilitation, habilitación. Let me find the word. Habilitar. ¿Cómo se dice eso?
Permisión.
La permisión, sí. To work. So gives a permission to work, no? But there is a condition, no? Which is in particular to the ones related to the system that are under the protection system. They are part of programs and all that. They have to manage and to continue with the activities that they developed, and they can be integrated, but they have this relation. So they have to fulfill both, no? So, and they still have to respond to the educator or to whatever is in charge of, or to the mentor or whatever is in charge of. The problem is that this permit has to be renovated every 2 years, and we will have the problem in 2 years because this is just brand new. And to renovate it, for example, probably most of the use will be because of the age, because eso está hasta qué edad, digamos, este permiso que habilita.
No, puede ser.
O en el sistema
hasta los 18.
No, 21 años se extendió, ¿o no?
Sí, pero en el mismo sistema hasta los 18 y luego unos pisos de emancipación de 18 a 21.
Okay, so here in Spain, under the system, you are until 18 years old, but you can continue under the system in a modality of emancipation, which is normally is apartments that you start your autonomy, process of being independent. But this is until 21 years old. So the problem is in 2 years, many of them will be out of age. So they will be out of the system. So to renovate the permit, they have to prove that they have enough economy capacity to sustain themselves. And this is going to be probably a challenge. So this is what is in Spain. So in Spain, as responding to you, probably yes, for the ones who are linked to protection system, they have to combine both, and this is compulsory. And then if you're out of the system, you have to show that you are able to, probably only for the one who has already a permanent job. But for the ones who doesn't have a permanent job, probably will be difficult to show that they have their economic capacity to sustain themselves by their own self.
Puedo agregar algo más. Generalmente el primer permiso que le habilita a trabajar va vinculado a la resolución de la tutela. Y el primer permiso son por 2 años. El segundo permiso son por otros 2 años. Y luego viene un tercer permiso, pero que se juega con la situación de que si llevas desde el primer permiso al quinto, o sea, al año quinto, tienes el permiso permiso de larga duración que no te permite renovar, sino que directamente puedes trabajar y estudiar. Pero lo que también se está haciendo es que una vez que el joven tutelado tenga 2 años de residencia con su permiso, tanto que le habilite a trabajar como trabajo, podemos tramitar la nacionalidad española. Entonces hay 2 vías para que este joven pueda mantener su permiso de residencia.
Okay, there are several ways for the young people to solve. For example, the first permit is related to the resolution of the protection. The protection of the protection response system. No, this is linked to that. That is valid for 2 years, and then the second permit, it's after 2 years, but you have to show that you have economical incomes to sustain yourself. But when they have another 3 years, it will be when they have 5 years. If they can, if everything is in order, they can apply for a long-term duration of a work permit. This is one way. The other way is, as we explained, is they are allowed to work permits and residence. Some of them do not apply for residence, some of them yes. But the other way is after the 2 years, if everything is in order, papers and all that on work, the entities can help to get the residence permits, and this will be a direct way to have the long-term duration. It's clear? Okay.
Por lo de la nacionalidad también, ¿no?
Thank you, muchas gracias.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will send you Buraudi.
Very complicated.
How you said that?
Just copy paste. Don't try to read it. Burawi
If others or Katerina are have also interested in getting the law, we will send it to all of you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if you don't have any other questions or relation to the program. I don't know if Manuel is here and she wants to ask something. I'm happy to respond. If not, we can close.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all.
So yeah, thank you
It was a
very
great
much, Virginia
presentation.
and Giovanna.
Really.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you,
Virginia.
everyone. Bye bye. Thank
Gracias.
you. We'll close
Ciao,
this.
ciao.
Bye.